Yeah, I'll just sit like this. I'm gonna get rid of my candles. I'm just gonna sit back here.
Okay. Did you see the video our students did? It's very funny.
No, you should send it to me. Is it a Hanukkah?
Maybe I'll play it just before services start,
Sure.
just as a thing.
Times for the grown-ups. The Hanukkah has
My father and twelve after.
times for the grown-ups. The Hanukkah has
11 and 12 after. This one, yeah.
Yeah, we don't start till 6:15.
times for the grown-ups. The Hanukkah has
11 and 12 after. This one, yeah.
Yeah, we don't start till 6:15.
times for the grown-ups. The Hanukkah has
You're getting some feedback there.
We don't start till 6:15. It keeps looping around.
You're getting some feedback there.
It should end now. It keeps looping around.
You're getting some feedback there.
Oh boy. It should end now. It keeps looping around.
You're getting some feedback there.
Oh boy. It should end now. It keeps looping around. Oh, I know why.
Mazel tov.
We have nobody.
There's nobody watching?
Yeah, look, flickering lights, 8 nights full of donuts. Potato lockers and l'chaims for the grown-ups. The Hanakia has to shine when it glows up. Running inside, it's already getting colder. A man of miracles, I witness with my visuals. He's still in the business, be careful who you listen to. When they try to get at you, like if it's real, I give it proof. Well, it's you and every other Jew. Full belief in the infinite, I don't have to give a hint. But we do on Hanukkah, every time the candle's lit. Darkness dismissed like every single enemy. Nobody's on God's level, but they all pretend to be. All we know is victory, 8 nights glistening. Many try to stop us, they don't get a mention here. Like a window, make it clear, you know what today is. Not saying it 8 times, you'll have to replay this.
Oh man, yeah, it's Hanukkah. You see all these miracles popping up. Back and forth the way we rock it, all the lights is something you gotta love. Yeah, oh man, yeah, it's Hanukkah. And the flow is so iconic. Back and forth the way we rock it, people been down, but now we coming up. Yeah. Miracles happen on 34th Street to me. 7 days in a week, we got a nice. I see you smile on my face. Freestyle for living. Took big L's in life. The only enemy is if the Knicks ain't winning. I'm in the streets with peeps, and every day I'm chilling. 2021, my only job was living for a living. Please listen, I'm being grateful. Got heat, got hot. What about my own fried food? We outside till we inside. We actually been fighting hatred and bigotry our whole lives. Had a slice of the life, but now I want the whole pie. Got a tip for every hater that don't tip the pizza guy. Thousands of years ago, we fought against the Greek fire. Now we ordering veggie burgers and Greek diners. Stay working on yourself, be a miracle, don't retire. Put the oil in the lamp and be a lighter. Come on, everybody, it be popping off. It was just Thanksgiving, how the heck it Hanukkah? Get a present, VHS, tape, Nintendo, DVD, and an NFT from Gary V. And if you bump into someone when you in the street, next time say excuse me. And if you see Adam Sandler in the street, tell him put me in the scene in the movie, yeah! Oh man, yeah, it's Hanukkah. You see all these miracles popping up. Back and forth the way we rock it, all the lights is something you gotta love, yeah. Oh man, yeah, it's Hanukkah. And the flow is so iconic. Back and forth the way we rock it, people been down, but now we coming up.
You know we've been down, but we've come around. Didn't put our heads down, and God took us out. For 8 nights, we make a great light, and we show the world we've won.
Oh man, yeah, it's Hanukkah. You see all these miracles popping up. Back and forth the way we rock it, all the lights is something you gotta love, yeah. Oh man, yeah, it's Hanukkah. And the flow is so iconic. Back and forth the way we rock it, people been down, but now we coming up, yeah.
Shabbat Shalom and welcome everybody to our Shabbat and our Hanukkah celebration. We're thrilled to be able to join together via our YouTube channel and to welcome everybody wherever you may be celebrating, and also to have an opportunity to welcome Yael back and thank you for joining us and offering your beautiful music. We'll begin to kind of get us in that Shabbat mood, that mood of welcoming with each other and Hanukkah with Hine Matov on page 6.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
And as today is our 6th evening of Hanukkah, we light our Hanukkah candles first and then our Shabbat candles. And so if you're doing that at home, go ahead and light your shamash, and Corlin, do it from here. Thank you. And we'll join together in the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim lavoteinu bayamim ahem b'zman hazeh.
And our Shabbat candles.
Can I use my helper?
We utilize our shamash once again.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. And as we welcome Shabbat into our hearts and into our lives, we turn together to Lecha Dodi on page 20.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor bezachor b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el ham yuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'lichila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki makor ha'bracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'mashcha v'tfila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki Ba'orech kumi uri shir daberi kavod Adonai laich nigla lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela Boi v'shalom hateret bala Gam besimcha uv'tohola Toch emunei am segula Boi chala Lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekavela Lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekavela
On page 24, we join in Shalom Aleichem, and as you saw in the video, I hope if you haven't seen it, or the video that our Gesher 5 students made as our welcome to Hanukkah experience, you'll see that they were handing out flowers, and they were handing out flowers to people as a gesture of welcome and of offering them a sense of peace and wholeness in their lives. And so we'll join together in Shalom Aleichem, offering each other that same blessing of peace.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni L'Shalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitzchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And on page 26, we join in Chatzi Kaddish, followed by Baruch Hu.
Yitkada ve'yitkada Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yamad yivrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael bagala u'v'zman kariv ve'imeru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam alal me'al maya yitbarach ve'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei Kedusha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma ve'imeru amen.
And on the following page, page 28, we join in Baruch Hu.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom balayla, golel or mipnei choshech, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
We turn together to page 30 and join in Ma'ariv Aravim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim. B'chokhmah poteach sha'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem b'rakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzevaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, HaMa'ariv Aravim. Page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works in the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadata, Otanu limadata. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochenu, v'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negeo mam v'layla, negeo mam v'layla. Ve'havta al tasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
And on page 34, we join in thanking God and recognizing that God is one and unified and is the singular part of our faith and our existence. And we thank God for all of that with the words of Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Leolam Vad.
The following page, we continue on page 36 with the Ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקי הים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
On page 43, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim.
Page 47. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. As we continue with Amidah, page 46. Adonai sifatai tiftach l'fi agit tehilatecha. Adonai, open our lips, that our mouths may declare your praise.
Anananananana Adonai, Anananananana sfatai tiftach, Anananananana ufi agid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Bekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasei Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Ve'ahava. Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Page 53. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai. Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 57. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land and Zion restored in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. Page 59. In the middle. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we, humans, that you are mindful of us? We mortals, that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha lecha na'eh lehodot. Page 61. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom, Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amcha tasim leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
We take a few moments to leave the prayer book aside, to turn inward to the heart, to our hearts, our minds, those prayers that are inside all of us. Some moments of silent prayer.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי.
We turn our hearts and our prayers to those who need our blessings of healing. And so we turn together to page 253, and we think of all those in our lives, our friends, our family, those who we work with, those that we are engaged with in a variety of different ways, and send our blessings of healing and ask God for blessings of healing for all those who need, whether they are battling COVID-19, another illness, an illness of mind or body or spirit or heart, whatever it might be. And in our congregation, we especially mention Pat Hanna, Doug Ford, Steve Tottleman, Merv Weinman, Diane Levy, Joan Rosenthal, Scott Gordon, Sarah Parton, Tony Manchester and family, Frank Fusaro, Renee Goldman, Jay Kaler, Debbie Perry, Dick Metcalf, Sharon Johns, Shelley Schloss, Diane Kaler, Bernice Fox, Julie Matthews, Dane Marcinowski, Maggie Lee, Noyak Grinberg, Robert Wozniak, Pam Waters, Corlin Moray, Sydney Scrementi, Andy Green, Martha Snyder, and Kat Winslow. If you have a name that you would like to add, please add the name into our chat box. And we turn together to page 253 for our blessing of healing.
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. מי שברך אמותינו מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Well, Shabbat Shalom and happy Hanukkah. We hope everybody's had a beautiful Hanukkah celebration so far. We kicked off Hanukkah with our congregational celebration last Sunday, and we had a great Hanukkah event there. And thank you to everybody who participated and helped organize that. It was really, really wonderful. And as Hanukkah has progressed, we've had our 8 mitzvot of Hanukkah, each of the nights having a different mitzvah connected to it. We hope that you have enjoyed participating in those. The story of Hanukkah begins with the Maccabees, this small group of people led by the famous Judah Maccabee. And it's a story of determination. And the story that we talk about mostly is the story of the Maccabees overthrowing the Greeks. But before the Maccabees could even overthrow the Greeks, they actually had to create a bit of a consensus among the Jews, because there were lots of people, lots of members of the Jewish community living at the time who had thought that embracing complete Greek identity was a great idea. They had embraced Greek language and art cultures and literature, and even some had embraced Greek religious practice. And the Maccabees were the first to say, hey, wait a minute, this doesn't fit. This doesn't follow our values and our ethics and our traditions that we have inherited as part of the Jewish community. And so there was a real struggle. And the Maccabees were ardent, and they literally started a campaign, a public relations campaign, and went door to door trying to convince people that they should reject the Greek lifestyles and the Greek cultures and everything else, and continue to follow Judaism. And they fought that battle for a long time before they were actually able to create support. So what this partly teaches us, I think, is that there is rarely a time in history, and we can look at various different points in history, where there has been complete agreement amongst different Jewish groups. In fact, I think that it's because we have different ways of expressing Judaism that we create this sort of healthy tension. The tension between doing it this way or that way, and trying to convince people that this is a better way to do it, I think is healthy. And right now we are in the midst of another one of those moments of tension between a group of people who were elected in the recent elections in Israel, who feel very strongly that they're very much on the right wing, and they feel strongly that there should be some changes to Israel's fundamental approach to many different things, including changing the law of return, which is a very significant change, which would essentially eliminate the permission for those who've undergone conversion through the Reform, Conservative, Reconstructionist, any of the liberal Jewish branches, that they would no longer be considered eligible to move to Israel under the law of return. Now, those numbers are not huge numbers of people that choose to do that every year, but it's very significant in the sense of the legitimacy of liberal Judaism in the eyes of the Israeli government and in the eyes of the Israeli community. The reality is that this is a very small faction of folks who have the support in Israel for this. And we are working to do everything we can, including signing onto cross-movement letters of support and those kinds of things that we are advocating for, which we'll hear more about probably in the new year too. But they also want to do things like end LGBTQ rights and curb rights of women, really trying to disenfranchise people and to remove some of the advances that we have created over the last 75 years in Israel, especially being a very egalitarian community. The other things that they would like to do is they would like to curtail the Israeli Supreme Court decisions that could then be overridden by a Knesset vote, by a vote of the parliament, which of course negates kind of the ultimate oversight of a Supreme Court, which is to be sort of the last stop on the legislative train. But they want to change that, as well as they want to annex sections of the West Bank and make that part of Israel proper. And in the process, they also don't want to include those Palestinians living in those areas and give them citizenship and rights to vote and those kinds of things. And so that's a very complicated piece. And one of the other pieces that they want to do is they want to be able to expel Israeli citizens who oppose government. So, you can imagine that in a democracy that thrives again on opinion and on differing opinions and having a breadth of opinions and being able to interact with those opinions and having to be able to disagree. And for one group to be able to disenfranchise another group from their citizenship rights simply because they disagree with government policy is simply abhorrent. And so we have begun to advocate against a lot of these things. Now you can say, well, this is a small minority. Well, that's true. But these two parties they actually received about 11% of the Israeli vote, which is quite a frightening number, actually. And the real problem with it is that in Israel, because of Israel's democratic parliamentary structure, the small parties often hold balance of power. And so they can have an enormous power, far outweighing their size, because you have to create a coalition of parties to be able to create a government. And Netanyahu has created this government with them in it, with two of them, two primary leaders of this group. One is Bezalel Smotrich and Itamar Ben-Gvir, who are on the very, very far right-wing fringe kind of groups, both of which are participating in groups that have been sort of rejected by Israeli society at large, and certainly by all of North American and world Jewry, for sure. And yet they have been included in this the proposed government, which is incredibly challenging. And so, this is a great moment to stand up and to be a Maccabee and to be aware of these things going on. And when the emails come through that says sign this petition, please do that, because one of the ways that we express our feelings and the way in which our voices are heard is by signing these petitions and by making it known that we are opposed to these kinds of policies and practices. So I'm sure we'll hear more about this as the new secular year begins, but I did want to bring that up to you as we begin this new year and this sixth day of Hanukkah. And so I want to wish you all a Chanukah Sameach, a beautiful, wonderful, light and bright, filled, hope-filled, healthy Hanukkah season. And looking forward to celebrating again for the next couple of days, and also being together again in person next week. And so we are going to turn now to Aleinu on page 282.
Alinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atet gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kiryei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor alinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Shehu noteh shamayim veyoser haaretz, u'moshev yakaro b'shamayim ima'am, u'shchinatu zo begovhei meromim. Hu Eloheinu ein od, emed malkeinu efes zulato, Kakatu v'torato v'yadat hayom v'hashevota elevavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim ima'am ve'al haaretz mitachat ein od. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lamelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
Our thoughts turn now to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We are in the period of Shloshim for Claire Levin, Marion Chesner, and Bruce Fleischig. And on this Shabbat, we observe Yahrzeit for James L. Schuster, Martin Sender, Figa Cohen, Pauline Schaffner, Gilbert Schulman Sr., Joseph Burstein, Abraham Hyman, Minnie Brody, Stanley Ratner, Bertha Cohen, Charles Shapira, Meyer Todman, Simon Fletcher, Shirley Kullback, Louis Pollock, Sari Finkelhorn, Jacob J. Myers, Celia Reich Moss, Francis Eisenberg Kramer, Elaine Kahn Bondi, Minnie Schuster Morris. If you have another name that you would like to add in memory, please add it into our chat box. And we turn together to words of memory on page 294. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Ba'alma divrach gerutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayachon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'galav izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach la'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who grants peace in the high and distant heights grant peace for us, for all Israel, for all the world. And together we say, Amen. And because it is Hanukkah, we are going to close with a special Hanukkah song about a wonderful, wonderful special treat. But before we do that, we want to announce that services this evening are in memory of Louis Pollock, Shirley Kullback, Charles Shapira, and Alexander Solosko. And there are no services or Torah study tomorrow morning. And we resume back in person to next Friday and Saturday. So wishing everybody a Shabbat Shalom, a Chanukah Sameach, a wonderful, happy, healthy Shabbat and Hanukkah to everybody. Thank you, Yael, for joining us. Always great to have you, even if Yael is in Hamilton, Ontario. I am here in Detroit, and we have people joining us from, I think, East Coast, and of course Erie, and maybe Florida, and so it's great that we can come together and create this very special sacred community. And so we're going to conclude with a very special song about a very special treat that we like to eat on Hanukkah.
All right. I am so mixed up that I cannot tell you. I'm sitting in this blender turning brown. I've made friends with the onions and the flour, and the cook is scouting oil in the town. I sit here wondering what will come of me. I can't be eaten looking as I do. I need someone to take me out and cook me, or I'll really end up in a royal stew. I am a latke, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come. I am a latke, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come. Every holiday has food so special. I'd like to have that same attention too. I do not want to spend life in this blender, wondering what I'm supposed to do. Matzah and charoset are for Pesach, chopped liver and challah for Shabbat. Blitzes on Shavuot are delicious, and gefilte fish no holiday without. I am a latke, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come. I am a latke, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come. It's important that I have an understanding of what it is that I'm supposed to do. You see, there are so many who are homeless, with no job, no clothes, and very little food. It's so important that we all remember that while we have most of the things we need, we must remember those who have so little. We must help them, we must be the ones to feed. I am a latke, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come. I am a latke, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Happy Hanukkah. We'll see you soon. Take care.